This is the Wiiviewer!
The LilWiiviewer and the LittlestWiiviewer.
And we're gonna review
Wreck-It Ralph for the Wii.
Normally we don't do games based on movies because they have such a limited lifespan, but since I figured this was based on the video game world, it would be okay. Was the fact that the movie was based on video games, did it make the movie more appealing to you?
Yes, very. It has a cool little gimmick in the background that wants to say, hey, look, you know these people, don't you?
The story's about, well, actually we can't tell you the story because the story's based on what happens after the movie. So if you've never seen the movie, the very first second is a very big spoiler for you.
Yes, we booted up the game and we're like, hope you didn't want to see the movie.
I thought it was going to be a game based on the movie, not a game based on what happens after the movie. But that's what this is.
I thought the game would be based off, well, the games. You know, for Fix-It Flex Jr. is going to be the actual video arcade game. And for Sugar Rush, it's going to be like a racing game. And Heroes Duty would be like, you know, one of those Call of Duty pew 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 games.
Come on, if you're going to do it right. Pew 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 pew. Or, what am I, in a gangster movie? Yeah!
Okay, moving on. But the games were not. They're a platforming action game.
But the problem I had with the game was that the levels themselves really didn't seem connected to the actual movie or the locations in the movie or anything that have to do with the movie. They seem like they're just random areas thrown together to make it look like it's somewhat like the movie, but not really.
Then again, all video games are just random places and random things.
No, that's not true. Like when you're playing Aladdin for the SNES. They let you play scenes in the movie, and they made it look like the movie.
I think the graphics were actually good for this type of style of arcade/movie.
I think they were average.
I would have to agree with you because they're not bad. It's not like HD high res, oh my god, you should play this game for graphics game.
Well, you never play a Wii game for graphics.
You're right. That's for the Wii U.
There were 3 worlds with 5 levels apiece on each world.
4 and a boss fight.
4 levels and a boss fight. Technically, there are 5 levels. What did you think about the levels themselves?
The levels, they didn't really change.
The levels were too similar, and they really didn't stand out from each other.
I'm not saying I don't like the level design. The levels were kind of fun to play, but they're like tedious more than anything.
And another thing, they just kind of end. There's no rhyme or reason, it just ends.
You could run into like a dead end. You're like, what's this place for? You walk forward to, and it's like, oh no, you're at the end of the level.
So you can play as 2 different characters. Why don't you talk about that, little sweet viewer?
Well, first of all, you have Wreck-It Ralph, who does more damage and can break boxes, is really strong. He could climb big ladders along with some ceilings. Just isn't really used much in the game. Then Fix-It Felix will actually double jump, and he could also wall jump. However, he's less powerful.
I found Wreck-It Ralph the most useful of all of them. I used Felix as like if I want to get past something and I don't care if I get hurt, I'll just use Felix because they each have their own individual life bar. You can't play this as a 2-player game. You have to play it as a 1-player game, and you have to switch with the A button. Got a little annoying.
In each level, there's 2 things to collect: a hero's medal and an Easter egg. If you collect both of them, you will get art in the extras menu.
That was probably like concept art for the movie. I thought that was a cool little extra. The game will take you about a little bit more time to play than the movie itself, which is about 2 hours, I would say. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and that's a pretty bad gameplay time. You could sit through this for like the night and be done with it in like a snap.
One of the problems I have with the game is the difficulty level, which I think is a bit higher than it really should be. I think the platforming levels are actually quite difficult, even if you can get 1-ups very easily.
I digress. I think the difficulty is like just normal, fine. It's not really hard to play.
Wreck-It Ralph, littlest viewer, would you buy, rent, or skip?
Rent because the game would not take you very long.
How about you, little viewer? Would you buy, rent, or skip?
One of those weekend rents to just like play a game, something new. You're just gonna finish it quickly, so not really worth a buy.
And I would agree with you both. I think the game is only worth a rent. There's such limited gameplay. There's not really that much replayability. But the game itself, overall, is okay. So I think it's worth a rent.